Art by Inked Playmats at inkedplaymats.com, your place for custom-made playmats. Design your own or shop from other featured designers. Use promo code KlotzDeal to save 10% on your order. Inked Playmats, your game, your style. To do on their website, and come join us for a fun, friendly F&M environment. Hello everybody, this is Kevin from KlotzProductions, and this is my deck tech for my Izzet Control, aka Cackling Clone deck. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with our mana base. We have 9 islands, 4 mountains, 4 steam vents, 4 Sulfur Falls, and 3 caverns. The caverns are in there so that against the control matches I can force my creatures into play. And the rest of the lands are just pretty much it's Izzet, so we play the colors for Izzet. We run more islands than mountains because most of the spells require double blue, or there's more double blue spells than double red spells, and the double red spells don't come till later. Speaking of spells, we have some burn spells. We have 2 Pillars main deck, 2 Mizzium Mortars main deck, 3 Searing Spears, and a Rolling Temblor. These are all our early turn burn spells that we can use against aggressive decks to take out their little, their quick guys and stay alive against things like zombies and stuff. Then we have 4 Think Twices, which are just basically to build more card advantage and help us keep from missing our land drops because we only do have 24 lands. Then we have 5 1-ofs, aside from just the Rolling Temblor. These are just all our counter spells plus a Cyclonic Rift. There's Dissipate, Counterflux, Negate, Essence, Scatter, and then like I said, Cyclonic Rift. I was running 2 Dissipates, but I decided to add a Counterflux because I noticed it was good in the control matches. And the Dissipate, Counterflux, and Negate are all non-creature spells, which are pretty much always going to be relevant. Then the Essence Scatter will occasionally be relevant, but there's a lot of Cavern of Souls, so that's why there's just one of those. But I run a bunch of 1-ofs because there's Snapcasters in the deck, and it helps to give me lots of options. And the last spells I have is Cackling Counterpart, which is part of the namesake of the deck, to copy creatures, and a Runechanter's Pike to help push through some damage at the end with my creatures and give me more win conditions, basically. So speaking of creatures, we have 4 Snapcaster Mages, which are pretty standard. Well, maybe not 4, but just Snapcaster Mage is pretty standard in any blue control deck. And obviously that just builds card advantage and gives us more options, and plus with the Pike they can become a win condition. Then I have Clone, which is the other namesake part of the deck since it's Cackling Clone. These are good against Thragtusks, and they're also good for dealing with legendary creatures like Geist of St. Traft or Sigarda. Specifically Sigarda, but you can deal with any legendary creature, and it's good for copying our bigger creatures, which is also why Cackling Counterpart's in there. And what bigger creatures do we want to copy? Well, first of all, we have Dungeon Geists. These are pretty much, they come in, are going to tap a creature, and then you're basically going to be attacking with them. My biggest problem I've noticed is that you can't really attack into Restoration Angel with them unless you have a Pike on them, so that can get you into some trouble. Other than that, though, they usually end up being the ones that win a lot of the games, because I just play a Geist, tap their dude, and then use my spells to keep them tapped down and kind of play a tempo match against them, and just win with the Dungeon Geists. And at the end of turns I can copy Dungeon Geists and then attack for more. And that is one way to deal with Restoration Angel. If they flash it in to block the Geist, you can copy it at instant speed and tap it beforehand, so it'll save your own Geist. Moving on, we also have 2 Zealous Conscripts. These are also good to be copied because you can take their permanents and attack, and then copy them again and take their permanents and attack again. And since I said it becomes kind of a tempo match, then basically it's kind of a tempo deck, then it will let you push through that extra damage and get the victories, especially if they're playing Thragtusks, because then you can take them and they'll hit further 5 damage plus the 3 additional from the Zealous Conscripts, so if they're low on health they can get in there. However, I have decided that they probably are going to come out because they're very situational, and I'm thinking I'm going to splash white and just run Sphinx's Revelation in their place. But that's what has been in there right now. And then I have 3 Thundermaw Hellkite, which if the Dungeon Geists don't get there, then the Thundermaws come over the top to help finish off. They're probably the most powerful card in the deck, most powerful creature in the deck for sure. And a lot of times, like I said, if the Geists don't win, then the Hellkites do. One weakness I've noticed with this deck is that people will play Slaughter Games and name Thundermaw Hellkite a lot, and then it just kind of puts me down to having Dungeon Geists to win with. But that's also why I added the Pike, to help try to push through more damage with my other creatures. And then we have one Niv-Mizzet, Dracogenius. I was originally going to have 4 Thundermaw Hellkites, but I only got a hold of 3 of them, and then I was just playing with one Niv-Mizzet. And once I realized that people would take him with my Slaughter Games, I thought it's good just to have an alternate win condition, and if he untaps, you can pretty much win with him. So that's the basic deck. Let's move on to the sideboard. Alright, so moving into the sideboard, we basically have 2 sides. We have the burn side, which is for the fast aggro decks, and then we have the counter spells blue side, which is going to be for the control decks. That's basically how the sideboard is broken up. Except for Essence Scatter, which is kind of extra in there. If they don't have caverns in their deck and I want to stop their creatures, then I might bring them in. But like I said, basically we just go up to 4 pillars against zombie decks or really fast aggressive decks, and 4 Searing Spears and a second Rolling Temblor, because if they go turn 1, 1-drop, turn 2, 1-drop, 1-drop, and then you play your turn 3 Rolling Temblor, then you get a 3 for 1, and it'll help you stay alive really fast with that. And then we also have Izzet Staticaster, which is really good against zombies. Because of the clone spells, if we have the first one, we can copy the second one and kill any of their 2/2s. He also keeps Gravecrawler or deals with Gravecrawlers when they come back. So it's efficient at dealing with those. It deals with the Exalted Knights, and it also kills Falconwrath Aristocrats, so it forces them to sack their creatures. And since you're killing their Gravecrawlers with them, then they can't sack them to the Aristocrats, so it's really good at dealing with those guys. I've noticed my biggest trouble against the zombie decks is if they get me down to 5 and bring a Hellkite in. That's why I'm thinking of adding the Sphinx's Revelation to the main deck, and I'm also considering the Thunderbolt, I think it is, that does 4 damage to creatures in the air. Because of the Thunderbolt and it is a Staticaster, then I could kill a Thundermaw Hellkite at instant speed. So the deck is still being tweaked, but those are some considerations for the aggro decks and the zombie decks that I have. Then when I play control, like I said, I go up to a playset of Dissipates and a playset of Negates and a playset of Curses, and I basically just counter everything that they do, all their relevant spells, deal with their creatures with Dungeon Geists and stuff, and just go over the top with Thundermaw Hellkites. A thing to note, if there are curses out on both sides of the table, then they don't loop because it only copies when you cast. So if you have a curse out, they play a negate, you'll copy it to counter their negate. If you play a negate of your own and they have a curse out, then obviously it copies it. So you get the copy effect, but you can't copy the copy because it's only when you cast. But basically you play these against the control decks and all their counter spells do nothing. You have caverns, so their essence scatters do nothing. And then any card advantage they build from Sphinx's Revelations, you get, or Think Twice's, then you get that advantage as well. So if they don't have the Tension Spheres, then it's really hard for them to win when you get a curse out. So that's basically how the sideboard is broken up against mid-range decks. Like I said, if they don't have caverns, if they just have a bunch of different creatures, then maybe Essence Scatter would come in. Against Thragtusks, I usually like to bring in an extra Searing Spear so that I can kill them. Other than that, the deck is pretty much, it's alright against the mid-range decks anyway, because it has the clones to copy their Thragtusks and the Dungeon Geists to deal with their Thragtusks. You just go over the top with Thundermaw Hellkite. So that's it for the deck. I have gone 3-1 the past 2 weeks with this deck. Been tweaking it, still want to make some changes. I'm also considering trying out maybe some main deck Staticasters along with the with more burn and the whatever they're called, the Thunderbolts, just so that I have the main deck ability to take out, to deal with zombies, and I would take out the conscripts and the clone effects for that. Move the clones to the sideboard, and then I've been thinking that maybe against control that might even work, because obviously you can't really interact with their spells without the negates and stuff. But with all the burn, like, your Staticasters will kill their Snapcaster Mages. If you pair a Snapcaster Mage or a Staticaster with a pillar, you can kill their augurs, and you pair it with a spear, you can kill their their Restoration Angels, and then obviously with the Thunderbolt you could kill their Hellkites. So I've been considering maybe just trying to play a full main deck burn and just basically kill all their creatures with burn, infinite amount, tons and tons of amounts of burn, because the Snapcasters being able to flash in the back and Staticasters being able to help ping them and finish them off. But I don't know if that will work or not. That was just another idea I had. So that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed the deck tech, got some useful information out of it. Feel free to try the deck out if you like it, and I will see you all later. Be sure to check out my gameplay videos along with my vlog and my Let's Play Duels of the Planeswalkers 2013. If you like this or any other video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and possibly add it to your favorites, then subscribe to be notified when more videos are online.